Hello everybody. I am River from the Portland City Gym. Um, Here gonna do a little bit different of a video. Today I'm going to be making a video that is going to be introducing players to not the game, but the competitive Pokemon TCG. So this is going to be the type of video that will help people roll up to their first tournament. It'll help people roll up to the first tournament with confidence in the deck that I will also be giving tips on how to build a competitive deck, things like that. Now, just to double check for recording. Yes, it is, in fact, recording. So the first thing here that we're going to cover is viability. Viability is really important because obviously, well, I do have some visuals here. If you want to just skip over what I'm saying and just read here, what I'm going to say is pretty much the exact same. So some cards are printed better than others. Obviously, you have your common cards, your uncommons. Usually the rares are better, but there can be some pretty crappy rares too. Usually GXs are pretty good. um, but cards are, even GXs, some are clearly superior to others, and this is what makes archetypes, which we'll get on in the next video. This is a two-part video, and we'll get on that in the next part. But basically, different cards are printed better, and you play good cards. It's really that simple. Usually base it around only one deck, or like one core piece. Like, say if I wanted to build Pikachu and Zekrom, I can play other stuff too. I can play more Pokemon than just Pikachu and Zekrom, but this is mostly Pikachu and Zekrom's deck. That is going to be the main focus. So that's viability. It's a pretty simple concept. Uniqueness. Now this is a little bit more abstract. So as I just said, some cards are built better than others, but the better the card is, the more likely that other people are going to play it. If you play a good deck, then the odds of you running into the same deck are pretty high because it's a good deck. So if you guys play a very similar or the exact same 60-card list, your odds are going to be about 50-50 depending on skill. However, even if you are more skilled as a player, you can have just some bad luck. And so you always want to make sure that no matter what happens, you have the best odds to win a game. And this is uniqueness. That's where uniqueness comes in. This is mostly text. So if you're playing a different tech, it makes your deck different from all the other ones. So if your opponent is playing Pikachu and Zekrom, okay, really went to the next slide. So if your opponent's playing Pikachu and Zekrom and you're playing Pikachu and Zekrom, it can really come down to those minor differences in your 60-card list. They can play Zapdos, but you don't play Zapdos. Both of them are equally valid, but I mean Zapdos is a pretty off and on subject. Most Pikarom lists don't play it anymore, but your opponent can catch you off guard and say, "Ha! I bet you thought I couldn't attack, but you forgot that I have this one energy attacker to come up from the bench and to hit you for 80 damage." So having a tech like that can really help. A good example of this is Andrew Mahomes in 2017, where he got 7th place at the North American International Championships. He played Zoroark Trampa, and he played a tech of Turtonator GX. It helped him out a lot, and it was because it was really unique, and it was just the kind of format at the time where there were some smaller attacks that didn't really one-shot you and hit underneath 80 damage or 8 damage counters. So, is what it is. So, consistency. There's two parts to consistency. I'll get to that in a little bit. But consistency comes in two forms. The first one is playing multiple copies of a card to give you better odds of drawing the card. So, yeah. So you could play like X amount of cards in a game. So say you play, I'm just going to go completely off of what I wrote down here. If you play 4 copies of Professor's Research, you'll likely not play all 4 of them in a game. It's definitely possible, which is why it's good to have 4 copies of them. But if you play only like 2 or 3 in a game, it's still good to have 4 so that your odds of drawing into it are higher. And just to bring a little statistics into the mix, let's just say that let's just say you played 1 copy of a card and it got prized. Well, I will say that the odds of a 1 copy of a card, so say you play 1 copy of, I don't know, Boss's Orders or something, the odds of that 1 Boss's Orders being prized is obviously 10%, because 6 prize cards divided by 6 prize cards divided by list 60 is 1 in 10. So yeah, 10% chance. But if you play 2 copies of Boss's Orders, the odds of 1 Boss's Orders being prized goes up from 10 to 20%, but the odds of both of them being prized is significantly lower. So the odds of you having 1 Boss's Orders in the deck is actually higher than it was last time. It's a little bit of probability for you. So that's consistency part 1. Just play multiple copies of a useful card. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward, I like to think. Usually play like 1 or 2 more copies of a card that you play in a game. So like if you play about 2 Ultra Balls in a deck, or you play about 2 Ultra Balls or 3 Ultra Balls in a game, or I guess Quick Balls would be the new one. So if you play like 2 or 3 Quick Balls in a game, play 4 because consistency. And the next form of consistency is consistency part 2. The other form of consistency is being able to draw cards you need when you need them. Another form of consistency that I didn't really write down that kind of fits into this, being able to draw and or search for cards that you need. Being able to handpick everything you want from your deck at any given time. That is the other form of consistency. I'm going to use probably one of the best cards ever printed to demonstrate this. Zoroark GX had an ability called Trade, where once during your turn before you attack, you may discard a card from your hand, and if you do, you draw 2 cards. Now that's a pretty good ability, but the best part about it is that it can stack. So you could play like 2, or you can put 2 or 3 Zoroark GXs down on your bench, and you could use Trade 3 times, being able to draw 6 cards. And also, I'd just like to say that sometimes discarding a card is actually a good thing. Maybe like discard a supporter. Now this, of course, Zoroark GX is an expanded now, but also an expanded is VS Seeker. So you could discard a card like a supporter and then get it back with VS Seeker later on, and you're more likely to get one of your 4 copies of VS Seeker than you are a 1-of supporter, which is why playing 1-of supporters is so popular and expanded, because VS Seeker is just a better out to them. So, yeah. Other forms of consistency cards are Quick Ball, because you're able to pick out any basic Pokemon you want. From Expanded Ultra Ball, could discard 2 cards, get any Pokemon you want. That was also like a really, really good consistency card. And Professor's Research, just because it helps you draw cards, and it gives you a really aggressive 7 cards, which really can help you draw into those cards that you need, especially if you play 4 copies of it. The odds of you drawing it are pretty solid, actually. And other forms of consistency cards are support Pokemon. These are things like Shaman EX, Dedenne GX, Jirachi, one from Team Up, and the new Crobat V that's going to come out. But I'll do more of that in the next video. But that's about it for now. Definitely tell me what you guys think. And don't tell me what I missed, because there's still another video that you should probably watch. So Don't comment that I missed anything until you watch that one, which will probably come out tomorrow anyway. Anyway, I'm River from the Portland City Gym, and I don't even know if I did the intro or not. I don't really feel like going back and editing it. So I'm just going to leave it at that. So yeah, this is River from the Portland City Gym signing